Gong Yoo's secret wedding at 46. The love story that shook Asia. When the news broke that Gong Yoo, South Korea's eternal heartthrob and one of Asia's most celebrated actors, had finally tied the knot at the age of 46, the entire entertainment world froze in shock. For years, he had been considered a symbol of bachelorhood, a man so devoted to his craft that the idea of marriage seemed like an impossibility. Yet, in early 2025, the unexpected happened, sending waves of astonishment and excitement not just across Korea, but across the whole of Asia and beyond. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a cultural event, a revelation that turned into one of the most talked-about moments in modern Korean entertainment history. A shocking announcement that stunned the world. For over 2 decades, Gong Yoo had carefully built a reputation not only as a world-class actor but also as a man of mystery. Unlike many of his peers, his name rarely appeared in tabloids. Fans could speculate about his romantic life, but they had nothing concrete to grasp. No paparazzi photos of late-night dates, no secret vacations exposed by curious reporters, and certainly no half-confirmed scandals. That is why the announcement of his marriage landed like lightning on a clear day. Fans who had followed his career since his Coffee Prince and Goblin days were stunned into silence before turning to social media to pour out their emotions. The internet exploded with disbelief, heartbreak, and eventually heartfelt joy. For millions of people around the globe, Gong Yoo wasn't just an actor. They saw him as a dream husband, a symbol of unattainable romance. To wake up and read headlines that he was no longer single was, for some, like watching a beloved fantasy dissolve before their eyes. And yet, even amid the shock, there was something deeply poetic about the timing. Gong Yoo, the man who had once seemed destined to remain unattached, had finally revealed that he had found love, and he had chosen to share that truth with the world. Fans' reactions, heartbreak, humor, and happiness. As the story unfolded, fans reacted with a mix of emotions that perfectly captured the complexity of parasocial relationships. Many admitted to feeling a pang of heartbreak, as though they had personally lost a long-cherished dream. One fan wrote, "I've always joked that I would wait for him forever, but now it feels like the dream has ended. Still, I want him to be happy." Another commented, "It hurts, but I'm proud. He gave us so many years of dedication, it's only right that he finally receives love in return." Social media platforms from Seoul to Singapore to San Francisco flooded with hashtags like hashtag Gong Yoo Wedding, hashtag Nationwide Heartbreak, and hashtag Happily Ever After. Within hours, the news was trending worldwide. International media outlets dubbed it the wedding of the century, comparing the frenzy to royal weddings and Hollywood's biggest unions. The mix of tears, laughter, and congratulations revealed something essential. Fans weren't just mourning the end of Gong Yoo's single life, they were celebrating the fact that their beloved star had finally found happiness in the most human of ways. The wedding in Seoul. Elegance meets intimacy. Details of the ceremony itself were as carefully guarded as Gong Yoo's private life had always been. The location, a luxury venue in the heart of Seoul, was kept secret until the very last moment. Despite the utmost secrecy, paparazzi and excited fans crowded around in hopes of catching a glimpse of the groom and his mysterious bride. Inside, however, the wedding was described as nothing short of legendary. Guests spoke of an atmosphere that blended elegance with intimacy, grandeur with sincerity. The decor combined soft floral arrangements with modern lighting, creating an ambience that was both regal and warm. The guest list read like the credits of a K-drama hall of fame. Some of the biggest actors, idols, and directors in Korean entertainment gathered not for an award show or red carpet premiere, but for something far more significant: the union of a man who had touched millions of lives through his work. Witnesses described the ceremony as emotional and unforgettable. The highlight came when Gong Yoo, visibly nervous, exchanged rings with his bride. His hands reportedly trembled, his voice cracked, and in that moment, the entire room erupted with emotion. Guests wept, applauded, and cheered, knowing they were witnessing history. The mystery bride, not who anyone expected. The biggest question leading up to the reveal was simple: who is the bride? For years, fans had speculated about possible love interests. Every on-screen pairing sparked theories, with names like Kim Go-eun, Young Yoo-mi, and even Lee Min-young frequently surfacing in online discussions. But the truth turned out to be more surprising and more meaningful. Gong Yoo's wife is not a celebrity at all. She is a woman outside the spotlight, described by those who know her as intelligent, graceful, calm, and grounded. Far from seeking fame, she values privacy, simplicity, and sincerity. This revelation stunned fans, but also softened their reactions. There was something deeply reassuring in knowing that Gong Yoo had found love not in the glare of cameras but in the quiet corners of everyday life. Friends close to the couple emphasized that their relationship is built on respect, shared values, and genuine companionship. She admires his artistry but does not idolize him. She sees him not as a star, but as a man. And perhaps that was what touched Gong Yoo most deeply. The viral moments, a fairy tale made real. When photos from the wedding leaked to the public, the internet went into a frenzy once again. Gong Yoo looked as dashing as ever in a perfectly tailored suit, his familiar smile breaking through the solemnity of the moment. The bride, in a gown designed with understated elegance, radiated beauty without ostentation. Together, they looked like a couple pulled straight out of a fairy tale. But unlike scripted dramas, this was real. The authenticity of their love, the small glances, the gentle touches, the quiet smiles, spoke louder than any performance could. Within minutes, these images were trending globally, shared with captions like, "This is what true love looks like," and "The fairy tale we didn't know we needed." A love story born in silence. What captivated fans even more than the wedding itself was the love story behind it. Unlike many celebrity romances that blossom under the glare of the public eye, Gong Yoo's relationship grew quietly, nurtured away from the spotlight. The two reportedly met years ago through mutual acquaintances. At first, they were nothing more than friendly faces in passing, casual conversations at gatherings, polite exchanges with no hint of destiny. But over time, their connection deepened. What began as light-hearted conversations evolved into something far more profound. Their bond wasn't fueled by superficial attraction or the excitement of fame. Instead, it was rooted in shared values, mutual understanding, and a quiet appreciation of life beyond the cameras. Their relationship grew in secret, sustained by private dinners, long walks in hidden neighborhoods, and whispered conversations in the middle of hectic schedules. They were in no rush to announce anything, no desire to prove themselves to the public. Instead, they let their love mature at its own pace. How love changed Gong Yoo. Those closest to Gong Yoo noticed something remarkable as his relationship developed. He changed. The actor, once known for his guarded demeanor and quiet reserve, seemed lighter, happier, freer. Friends said his laughter came more easily, his smiles more naturally. The man who had long carried the burden of being a national icon had finally found balance. Marriage didn't diminish Gong Yoo, it completed him. His wife gave him something fame and adoration could not, a safe space to simply be himself. In her, he found not just love, but also grounding, companionship, and peace. More than just a wedding, a cultural moment. The wedding of Gong Yoo was not merely a personal milestone. It was a cultural phenomenon. Seoul buzzed with energy in the days leading up to and following the announcement. Hotels filled with fans hoping to catch a glimpse, international media flocked to cover the story, and brands scrambled to ride the wave of attention. Economists even noted a spike in tourism and consumer spending tied to the event, jokingly calling it the Gong Yoo effect. But beyond the economic impact, the emotional resonance of the event left the deepest mark. For fans who had grown up with his dramas, this wasn't just a wedding, it was the closing of one chapter and the beginning of another. It was a reminder that even icons are human, and even stars deserve love stories of their own. The legacy of a love story. As the night ended with fireworks lighting up the Seoul sky, many were left reflecting on the deeper meaning of the event. For all the luxury, secrecy, and spectacle, what moved people most was the simplicity of love itself. Gong Yoo and his wife had shown that in a world obsessed with glamour and appearances, authenticity still holds power. Their story was not about headlines or fantasy pairings. It was about two people finding each other in the midst of chaos and choosing to build a life together. The wedding may have lasted only one day, but its legacy will last far longer. For years to come, fans will remember it not just as the wedding of the century, but as the moment when their beloved Gong Yoo revealed his most human side, a man in love. Final thoughts. Gong Yoo's marriage at 46 will forever remain one of the most talked about events in Korean entertainment. It was shocking, moving, and inspiring all at once. Fans may still be nursing bittersweet feelings, but beneath it all lies a shared truth. Everyone deserves happiness, even those we think of as untouchable. In the end, Gong Yoo's story is not about a heartthrob leaving bachelorhood behind. It's about a man finding love and having the courage to share it with the world. And that, perhaps, is the most beautiful ending to any fairy tale.